Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today I have a bonus episode for you. This, you might remember, was the first kind of Life Magazine treasure trove that I found. I found this one with the Chappaquiddick Life Magazine. They were both in this package, and so now I'm going to open this one with you guys. This will have some information in it that isn't Kennedy related. It's about all the president's children. We have, of course, John and Caroline on the front cover. So let's get into this together. I'm excited to share this with you guys. So just looking at the cover, it says all the president's children. There are 23 living sons and daughters in exclusive new pictures. And we have a little 80s sticker over the face of Margaret Truman. So sorry, Margaret Truman. But we have John Eisenhower, who is an older man at this point, Amy Carter, who's still in braces, Julie Nixon, and then John and Caroline Kennedy. So we are going to get at least photos is what's being plugged by this front cover. I don't know if we'll get a story or not. As in other things, there are interesting advertisements. I like to show you guys just a peek at some of them. This one looks so 80s, doesn't it? It's Camel cigarettes, lots of advertisements for that. I know we're not here for the advertisements, but it's kind of funny to see. Okay, we get to White House families. So the first one is a picture of Amy Carter with her Siamese cat just hanging out, it says, at her family's home. And so the title is White House Families. They're telling stories. It starts out with a 1920s occupant of the White House. In the wintertime, it was so cold, a man would come into our bedroom and light a fire in the fireplace. It says, since it was first used by John Adams in 1800, the residence of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C. has been home to 37 families. Today, there are 23 children from those families still living, offspring whose fathers were presidents of the United States. They range in age from 17 to 93, and in profession from homemaker to actor to rancher. They live all across the country. Most of them have never met one another, but they have one thing in common. For a while, they were America's royalty. So that's the look we're being given. We have Chip and Jeff Carter, who are sons of Jimmy Carter here. We have Francis Cleveland. Wow. Grover Cleveland's son. This is him in a theater production. Here we have Patricia Nixon with her son. We have Margaret Truman in her publisher's office. Oh my. We have Elliot Roosevelt. Smoking his cigar in his pool with a puppy on his chest. That is funny. This is Franklin Jr. Franklin Delano Roosevelt Jr. We've heard about him a little bit in this book, that he gave counsel to some of the Kennedys. We have John Eisenhower right here. And then we have our first look at John and Caroline. I'll get a close-up of that. There they are. She's got her face turned from the camera. He has his hand out as if he's saying, no, don't film us, please. So clearly they've sat for this, and yet maybe they don't want to. It says they share a light moment on the lawn behind the John F. Kennedy Library in Boston, where in June, she introduced a computer exhibit that explains electoral college voting. I'm going to read you guys the entire Kennedy section. It says, when Caroline Kennedy turned 3, she told friends she had gotten a baby brother for her birthday. Asked if she would call him Jack, she said firmly, no, his name is John. This month, John and Caroline Kennedy turned 24 and 27. This is from November 1984. Perhaps the most photographed children in White House history, their every move made headlines. The number of teeth John had, the latest count on parakeets and gerbils, the Halloween costumes they wore to the Oval Office. Since they left the White House, their lives have been glimpsed by the public only in the glare of paparazzi flashbulbs. John, a 1983 history major at Brown, spent the year after graduation in India, studying third world development problems. Back home this fall, he interviewed for jobs in Manhattan in the public policy area. After graduating from Harvard in 1980, Caroline went to work for the Metropolitan Museum, where she is now manager, coordinating producer in the Office of Film and Television. She is active in the John F. Kennedy Library, more so than any other family member. As vice president of the Library Foundation and head of the Museum and Exhibits Committee, she flies to Boston for monthly meetings. Her job is to help develop new themes and exhibits that try to capture the spirit, style, and grace of her father. So that's what we get about them. Then we have Johnson's daughters, Lucy and Linda. So we get a glimpse of each of them and an update on their lives. So this is really just a quick look. Here we have Michael and Steve Ford. So Gerald Ford's sons are here. Apparently Ford was a soap opera actor, so we get a look at him. Strange. We have Susan Ford, and then we have Helen Taft Manning. It says, oh, look at this little old woman. Helen Taft Manning. So Taft was her father. Right there she is. It says she was a 17-year-old college freshman in 1909 when her father, William Howard Taft, was inaugurated. After her mother suffered a stroke, she served as her father's hostess. She made her debut at a White House tea for $1,200, followed by a ball for $200. Years later, she would recall, "We moved about with much greater freedom than today's White House children can. In fact, the front gates were open, and anyone could drive through the grounds." She earned her PhD at Yale. She was a dean at Bryn Mawr for 18 years and chairman of the history department for 16 years. Today, in failing health, she lives with one of her two daughters near the campus. How interesting. What an interesting life. I had no idea. Then there's the son of Coolidge and the son of Hoover. Very interesting. It shows them there. This is John Coolidge there at the bottom. And then Alan Hoover, who had gone to the White House to present a volume about his father to President Reagan. There. So at this time, there were a great many White House children, presidential children, still alive, which is very fascinating. I think that's the end of that article. So, very fascinating. What do you guys think? I don't think we are given any more looks. I'm going to breeze through really fast and make sure, like I always do. But a very quick look at John and Caroline. Each of them kind of were given the very quick overview of their academic successes. Definitely not the same picture as what we were given about John with the humiliation that he felt about, we were before his law exam, I guess. Definitely a very quick look at John and Caroline. Still interesting, and interesting that the nation, of course, remained fascinated by them, but that perhaps their image was used to draw attention to all of these other presidential children as well, which some of those were really fascinating, don't you think? Quick look. Hope you enjoyed this bonus episode. Maybe not as meaty as some of the others that we've looked at, but still an interesting quick look at John and Caroline Kennedy. You guys have a great day. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.